Aloha. So I'm going to be sharing my positive birth story. It's my second daughter's birth. I'm thinking I should probably share Erenka's birth as well, so that you guys have something to compare to, because both experiences were quite positive. It's just that Erenka's birth didn't end up the way I wanted it to end up, whereas with this one it was beyond what I even imagined. Yeah, I want to share positive stories because you always hear of these traumatic birth stories, and I feel like it's so important for us to have positive stories to listen to, because throughout my pregnancy I was watching positive births, I was listening to positive birth stories, and for me that kind of made sure that my mind knew that this is possible for you too. Like, so many other women have given birth in a beautiful way. Why can't you do the same? Anyway, so that's why I'm sharing this video today. I can be a bit long-winded sometimes, so I do apologize ahead of time if it is long. Yeah, but let us get into it. So it all started on Monday morning. So this was Monday the 2nd of March. And then so I lost a bit of my mucus plug, very tiny, like not enough to even be like, oh wow, I'm going into labor, just a very tiny amount. So I told my husband in the morning, like, hey, just FYI, and he's like, oh no. I'm like, no, just chill, probably won't be today, chill. So he went to work, and then I texted my midwife during the day at some point, I think like at past 10 or something, because I actually was having my 39-week appointment on the same day at 12:30. So I was like, hey, just, you know, FYI, this happened, and I was feeling something, like I wasn't sure. It wasn't as like the same kind of sensation I felt with Braxton Hicks in my abdomen. It felt lower down. It felt more like it was in the pelvic region. So I was like, something's happening, not sure what. So that afternoon when I went in for my midwife visit, she put me on the machine, I forgot what it's called, with the 2 bands to measure baby's heart rate and to also measure if I had contractions. And then yeah, so she did that, and like for 20 minutes I was on the machine for 20 minutes, and in that 20 minutes I only had like one surge. I like to call them surges because language is important. I'll get to the reason why now. And then yeah, so we basically said, okay, cool, it's probably, and then she said, okay, do you want me to check? And I was like, yeah, just so I know, because like I don't want it to be Braxton Hicks. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, cool, I'm sitting here having practice surges, but it's, you know, actual labor. So she did check, and I was a centimeter dilated, just under a centimeter, she said. So I was like, okay, cool, chilled. Yeah, and that day it was raining, so I went to the mall with Irenka, and I think the walking might have helped quite a bit, because if I came home I probably would have just come home and we would have chilled in bed and watched a movie or something, because rain. So going to the mall was a great idea. We walked around, took her to Wimpy, she played in the play area, that was fun for her. Yeah, and then we came back in the evening, and at around 7, that's when I really lost my mucus plug. Like, it came out good and proper. If you don't know what a mucus plug is, go educate yourself. So yeah, mucus plug left at around 7. Well, like, it came out at around 7, and then it continuously, like every time I wiped when I went to the bathroom, it kept coming out more and more. But there was like one proper one that came, and then it was like just a bit afterwards, like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, cool, something's happening. And then also the surges were getting stronger. The surges had started getting stronger when we went to the mall already. So I was like, something's definitely happening. So yeah, there were a few times actually we were in the shop, because I went to buy chicken that day, and like I had to stop, and I'm standing there with Irenka, and Irenka looks up at me She's like, what's happening? I'm like, no, I just need to breathe. And I sat there and looked at her, or like I looked at her, I stood there and looked at her. She's like, okay. And then she looks up at me, and then she like looks around. It was awkward for her, I think. I don't know. Anyway, she must get used to this. This will be the rest of her life. So yeah, so we went, yeah, got home, we had dinner, and then now the surgeries were coming on stronger and stronger. By I think 9, it might have been 8, I can't remember, 8 or 9. The surgeries were pretty intense. Like, it was like, okay, cool, I can feel you, you're there, I know that you are real labor. So I told my midwife that, okay, cool, the surgeries are quite intense, and she's like, okay, cool, take a bath and then let me know. Oh no, I told her I was going to take a bath, and then I would let her know afterwards. And I had also started timing them at that point, and they were quite sporadic. They weren't like, you know, every 7 minutes or whatever. They were quite sporadic still. I think they were about like maybe 10 minutes apart, if that. I think after bathing they were about 10 minutes apart or so, but before that they were very sporadic. Like, they were just coming and then like going, coming and then going. So I took a nice relaxing bath. Like, I legit, because we put Irenka to sleep, my husband was like, okay, cool, he wants to make sure everything is fine. I'm like, nah, you can go rest, like, sleep, trust me, sleep, you're going to need your sleep. So he was like, okay, cool, if you say so, I'll go sleep. So he went to sleep, Irenka went to sleep, Nanny went to sleep. I was like, yeah, now I can finally relax. I made the nicest bath. I like hot baths. I know I'm not supposed to have hot baths. So yeah, so what I do when I bath and it's hot, like, leave the door open so that the steam can like disappear, and then I feel better. Anyway, so yeah, so I made a hot bath and I put like candles, because during my pregnancy I would have a bath and like light a vanilla candle, and then I'd be doing my affirmations while I was in the bath, and then that kind of, I think, in my mind taught me to relax. Okay, let me just explain. During my pregnancy with Irenka, I discovered hypnobirthing, but I was like 36 weeks, and I was like, it's too late, oh no. And then I had my birth with Irenka, and I was like, I really wish I had done the hypnobirthing course, because I would have been a lot more relaxed. So this time around, I was like, I'm doing it, don't care. I had found a few people doing it, so luckily the one closest to us was actually had a course coming soon. So I actually started emailing about the hypnobirthing courses, I think when I was like 13 weeks or something. I think I waited for my first midwife appointment, and then I started emailing about the hypnobirthing courses. Anyway, so I did a hypnobirthing course, which basically they teach you how to get into a deep state of relaxation. I think a lot of people think it's weird, like it's hypnosis or something, and it's like weird juju, I don't know. But it's actually just, you're going to self-hypnotize, so to speak, so that you get into a deep state of relaxation at any point that you need to. And it was so worth it. Like, I genuinely think my second birth was amazing because I did the hypnobirthing course, and also because I had a better understanding of what my body is capable of. So also, one of the things we do for hypnobirthing is you get an affirmations track. So it basically has all these affirmations that you're supposed to listen to throughout your pregnancy, so that by the time you're giving birth, you know that my body was designed to do this. I'm working with my baby to, bring her into the world. We are working together. Like, it's just all these awesome affirmations. And then if you want to find out more about hypnobirthing, the specific course I did the Mongan hypnobirthing course. So if you want to find out about it, you can just let me know. Slide into my DMs. I'm very happy to share. Anyway, so that's what I did that evening. I took my bath, with the vanilla candles. And this time I like cranked it up. I like switched off the lights. I put candles everywhere. I was lying there. It was so nice and relaxing. I think I was in the, no, not I think, I was in the bath for like over an hour. And it really helped put me at ease. And I was just like thinking about how excited I am to meet my second baby. And I was thinking how Irenka and her will interact. And I was just kind of like relaxing and getting into a really calm and zen place. The previous 2 weeks before that were super hectic, so it was important for me to kind of let go of all the tension that I had built up the last 2 weeks before that, and I did. It was amazing. So yeah, so then what happened after that? I bathed. And then, because my midwife had said after my bath I must time them for about time the contractions for about 20 minutes and then let her know. So after that I timed them for about 20 minutes and then I texted her. This was at 10:30. So I sent her a message. I'm like, I really hope I don't wake you up right now. And then she replied. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, when I spoke to her about it the next day, I was like, were you sleeping? She's like, yeah, I was. I was like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, yeah, I thought as much that you'd have like a really nice relaxing bath, but I didn't realize it would be that long. I'm like, Askies. Anyway, yeah, then what else happened? Then, yeah, now after that bath, the contractions were like a lot more intense. They weren't painful. They were just really, really intense. Like, I could feel everything just like, you know, like I could feel my muscles actually contracting. Like, that's what a contraction is. Your muscles are doing this, you know? So I could feel that. But it wasn't painful or anything. I mean, compared to Irenka, with Irenka, I had pain. But this time around, it was intense. So yeah, so they were quite intense. I couldn't really sleep, so I mean, I got out the bath at like 10:30, and then like I decided, because I had packed my stuff with Irenka's stuff for after birth, and then I had a labor bag, because when you go to the midwives I use, midwives exclusive, they want like 5 big towels, 5 small towels, like a plastic bag, paper, linen savers, like, so all that stuff for the actual birth was in my birth bag. And then my next day bag was, or let me say post-birth bag, was my stuff and Irenka's stuff in one. But then I still wanted to add a few more things, so I was like, okay, let me just separate them, let Amila have her own bag, then I would have my own bag. So I did that. I packed, and then at around 12 I decided, okay girl, you need to sleep because you're going to be tired tomorrow, so sleep while you can. So I mean, the contractions weren't as hectic as I thought in terms of the fact that I could sleep. But at around 3 in the morning I woke up and I was like, okay, yeah, something's really happening now. So yeah, so I woke up at around 3 in the morning, went to the bathroom, and like just sitting on the toilet was like so helpful for me. So I sat on the toilet, and like as each contraction came, I was kind of like sitting on the toilet, randomly sitting on the toilet, and just breathing and like listening to the rainbow relaxation from the hypnobirthing course. Yeah, oh, another thing I forgot to mention. With the hypnobirthing, they say it's important to use the kind of language that doesn't scare you, because things like contractions, Braxton Hicks, like those kinds of words can scare a lot of people in the sense that they're very medical terms. So when you think of a contraction, you think, something really scary, and your brain has already associated the word with really terrible things. Or if you think of Braxton Hicks, you think, you know, whereas with hypnobirthing, they say you should say surges because it's a surge of your body, or practice surges because that's what a Braxton Hicks Hicks is. Um, yeah, I'm not doing a great job of explaining it. So if you do want to find out more, just let me know. And I mean, I can always lend you the book. I can direct you to the person I did mine with. Yeah. Anyway, so in the morning, like eventually, Tommy wakes up. I think it was probably at 4:30 or something like that. Yeah, and then I also went to go put, you know, those bean bags, those hot bean bags that you put in the microwave, then you put it on you so that it's nice and hot. So I did that. I was feeling like I've been having pelvic girdle pain, so my pelvis was quite sore at some point, so I put it there. And then eventually I took my birth ball, and then I put a blanket over it, and like I put a pillow down, and I was like laying over the blanket over the birth ball, because lying down flat on the bed was actually quite painful. So like during the surges, that was painful. So I decided, okay, cool, I'm going to lie over the birth ball with the pillow. And then Tommy woke up like just before 5, and he saw me there, and he like brought me a blanket, and he covered me with the blanket. And then yeah, and then they started getting quite intense. Yeah, and I was sitting on the toilet constantly. Like I'd get up and go sit on the toilet and like feel relief, and like come back and be like, nah, I'm just going to go sit on the toilet for a while. At some point Tommy came to knock, and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, you can come in, nothing's happening, I'm just sitting on the toilet because it's comfortable. I don't know if that also helped in the sense that I wasn't tensing up with each surge. So I was just sitting on the toilet, and like when a surge came, I was like just letting it loose, so to speak. Because I think the other problem is, at some point when I was walking, the surge came, and then I felt like, oh my gosh, I need to use the toilet, like number 2. And then I tensed up, and that was painful. So I was like, okay, relax. And then like I did the, you know, like the calm breathing. And that immediately, when I said relax, and then like I started breathing, it literally, like, it's like the pain went away. The intenseness was there, but the pain literally went away. And I was like, okay, when I tense up, I get pain. When I'm not tense, it's fine. So because of that, I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to spend quite a lot of time on, I don't think it was a conscious decision, I just went to the toilet because it felt good. So yeah, so throughout the morning, okay, so Tommy showers, and then like I decided to take a bath. Texted my midwife. She actually texted me first at like 8 or something, asking me how I'm doing. No, it must have been earlier than 8. And I told her, okay, yeah, surgeries are quite intense, but I'm going to shower. I'm going to take a bath, and then I'll let you know how I'm feeling then. After my bath, surgeries were still very intense. So our plan was we were going to leave home. There was still like other things, like I wanted to make jungle juice so that I had energy during the labor, and like we wanted to, I can't remember what our plans were, but we wanted to pass by. So, oh, I wanted another pair of track pants. I bought these really comfy track pants from Pick and Pay Clothing, and they were really comfy, and I was like, I think I want a second pair. So Tommy was like, okay, cool, we can pass by the shops on the way to the midwives, especially if you're like, you know, because what I wanted was to leave before I got into active labor, because with Irenka, I was in active labor when we left, and the drive was not pleasant. So I was like, okay, I want us to be in the vicinity of the midwives when I go into active labor, so that we don't have to drive far. So that was our plan. We were going to go to Pick and Pay Clothing. I was going to make jungle juice in the morning. Like I had all these plans. So yeah, so I took my bath, and then I got dressed. After getting dressed, now the surgeries were really intense, and I'm like, this baby's coming. So I told Tommy, okay, cool, I think we should go. And he was like, okay. So he didn't even question it. He was like, okay. And then he like packed the stuff. He's like, must I still make you jungle juice? I'm like, nope, let's go. So he's like, okay. So he goes, and he like took stuff to the car, and then I went. then yeah, so we went in, like we drove out the car. Renka was in the car with us. I'll like insert a clip here. Are you ready to be a big sister? Big sister. When Mama and Daddy come back, we'll have a baby sister for you, nah? Are you excited? Are you excited? Why are you excited? Do you like babies? Do you? I like babies. Do you like babies? Okay, we'll bring you back a baby, nah? So where are you going?
Daddy coming now.
Daddy's coming now. He went to go fetch Mama's computer. You don't want to leave without Daddy? Alright. So that was Irenka in the car with us. Tommy had gone to fetch the laptop at that point. Because I was like, what if we want to like watch a movie or something? So yeah. So we drive out, we say bye to Irenka. And I'm like to her, okay, cool, we're coming back with the baby. She's like, bye. And then as we're driving there, this happens. It's a clip here. Hey.
Hi.
How does it feel to be fetching your second baby?
It feels good.
Are you excited?
Eagerly anticipating this delivery.
That's awesome. Whoa. What was that? So after that, it was like, okay. So, because we were driving in my car, and as we're driving, now I hear I'm like, I know my car. That is not a good sound. And I told Tommy to like stop, so he goes to the, like we were close to the robot, so he almost stopped at the robot. I open my door, I look, I'm like, the tire's flat. How great. So luckily we hadn't left like our town yet, so we literally turned turned left, and we were like, okay, what do? Do we drive home? Do we, to swap cars, take his car and then leave mine? And then I was like, I don't know who says it. Tommy says I said we should take it to the tire place. I thought it was him. Anyway, I was like, let's just go to the tire place. And he's like, okay, great. So he saw me drove to the tire place, and I got out the car, and apparently he went in, told them, my wife's in labor, our tire burst, we need help fast. So the lady literally came out, she's like, it's urgent, help them. And then like the guy stopped what he was doing, and he was like busy doing stuff. And while I was standing there, I was actually very tense, because I was like, how can this happen? So with each surge, I was feeling pain. I was actually like, yeah, it was really painful at that point. While we were waiting for them to change the tire. And then, so they changed the tire. We then left. So we left.